We love stories about superheroes, but honestly, we're about to dive into the most incredible, complex, and vital guardian you will ever have, and it's operating inside you right this second. We're talking about the immune system.
So right now, as you're sitting there, a silent, invisible war is being fought inside your body. And what you're seeing on screen, that's not science fiction. That big red cell is one of your own, a macrophage, and it is literally devouring invading bacteria. This microscopic battle is happening all the time, and it's what's keeping you alive.
The army that's fighting this war for you, well, it's one of the most sophisticated systems in the known universe. It's this huge, interconnected network of cells, organs, and chemical signals all working together to protect you from a constant onslaught of threats. But how does it know, right? How does it tell the difference between a piece of food and a deadly virus? How does it learn, adapt, and remember its enemies? Well, that's exactly what we're here to figure out.
Our understanding of this whole system didn't just appear overnight. Nope, it actually started thousands of years ago with a really simple but life-saving observation.
Let's go way back to 430 BC. During a terrible plague in Athens, a historian named Thucydides noticed something amazing. People who got sick but survived couldn't get the same disease again. This was the first time anyone ever wrote down the basic idea of immunity. The body could actually learn.
Now, it took almost 2,000 years to turn that idea into medicine. In 1798, you have Edward Jenner, who famously used the milder cowpox virus to protect people from deadly smallpox. Then, the legendary Louis Pasteur takes it to the next level. He creates the first real vaccines from weakened germs, protecting sheep from anthrax and, in a landmark case, saving a young boy from rabies.
And this comparison just shows how far we've come. On the left, that's a drawing from 1891 by Aline Mechnikov, the first person to actually see these devouring cells in action. And on the right, that's what he was looking at, captured with today's technology. We've literally gone from sketching shadows to watching the battle in high def.
So, what is this system that they were all observing? Well, the best way to think about it is that it has two main branches, two very different lines of defense.
Think of it like this. Your innate system is kind of like the local police force. It's fast, it's always on patrol, and it responds in minutes to any kind of trouble. It recognizes general patterns of danger, but it's not super specialized. Your adaptive system, though, that's like a team of highly trained special agents. It takes a few days to get them ready to go, but they are incredibly specific, way more powerful, and, this is the key, they remember their targets.
And even these special agents have their own specialties. The adaptive system has two main squads. First, you've got the humoral response. That's led by B cells, which churn out antibodies. You can think of them like molecular homing missiles that tag invaders for destruction. Then you've got the cell-mediated response, led by T cells. These guys are more like assassins. They hunt down and destroy our own cells that have been hijacked by a virus.
Okay, let's put it all together. What actually happens, step by step, when something nasty gets in? Let's follow the entire journey of an infection from start to finish. So, the whole battle plan unfolds in 5 key stages. First, there's the breach and detection. Then, the immediate innate alarm. After that, you've got to activate the specialists. Then comes the full-scale adaptive attack. And finally, the most important part, creating a memory. Okay, so it all starts with a breach. Let's say you get a small cut on your finger. Instantly, the innate police cells, right there at the scene, these phagocytes, they just spring into action. They start gobbling up any invaders, and they release chemical alarm signals. That alarm? That's what you feel as inflammation. You know, the redness and swelling around a cut? But here's where it gets really smart. These first responders do more than just fight. They act as messengers. One of them will actually take a piece of the invader, an antigen, and travel to a command center, like a nearby lymph node. And there, it presents this crucial piece of evidence to all the highly trained B and T cells. Now, inside that lymph node are millions of B and T cells, and each one is a unique specialist just waiting for its one specific enemy. The messenger cell basically shows its evidence around until it finds the one cell that has the perfect receptor to match the invader. This is called clonal selection. Once that perfect match is found, that one cell gets the signal to activate and it starts multiplying like crazy, creating a massive army of identical clones. And now it's time for the final phase. This new army of millions of specialized cells is released into your bloodstream. They travel to the original site of the infection and just unleash a devastating, super precise attack, wiping out the one specific enemy they were designed to kill. But what happens after the war is won?
is maybe the most incredible part of all. The body doesn't just forget. A small number of these elite, battle-tested B and T cells stick around for years, sometimes for your entire life. These are your memory cells, and they are the secret to long-term immunity.
And if you want to see the real-world power of this memory, just look at these numbers. This is the exact principle that makes vaccines work. We create those memory cells without you ever having to get sick. And the results are just staggering. Look at measles in the US. We went from over 500,000 cases a year down to just a handful. Paralytic polio, from over 16,000 cases down to 0.
And then there's smallpox, a disease that killed hundreds of millions of people. Because of our immune system's ability to remember, we achieved 100% reduction. We completely eradicated it from the planet. That is the awesome power of immunological memory.
But a system this powerful, it's kind of a double-edged sword. Sometimes that immense power can be turned against us, and that leads to dysfunction and disease.
Generally, these problems fall into 3 main buckets. First, you have hypersensitivity, what we call allergies. That's the system overreacting to something totally harmless, like pollen. Then there's autoimmune disease, where the system gets confused and starts attacking your own body. And finally, you have immune deficiency, where the system is just too weak to fight off real threats.
So why does it seem like these things are happening more often? Well, one of the leading theories is called the hygiene hypothesis, and it basically suggests that our modern, super clean lifestyles are actually part of the problem. By shielding ourselves from all the normal, everyday microbes our immune systems evolved with, we might be leaving them, well, kind of bored. And an understimulated immune system can get out of balance, making it more likely to overreact to harmless things.
Which really leaves us with a final big question. This is an ancient system, forged over millions of years of evolution. But our world, our food, our stress levels, our environment, it's all changing faster than ever before. So you have to wonder, how will our modern lives shape the future of our oldest guardian?